Welcome to Master Your CRM. I'm Brandon Fisher. I'm so glad you're here. Let's master this together. Okay, today we are on to Mastery of Your Website Part 3. Thank you so much if you've watched video Part 1 and video Part 2. All right, let's get started. So in lesson number 1, we talked about your website, what it is, how it works, and why it matters. Part 2, we talked about navigating your website, your settings, where you found those, and what each setting does. Today, we're going to talk about widgets, blog, SEO, and custom pages, and how to execute those on your website so that it looks the best that it can, and all of the information that you need to get on your website is out there. What you need to do, log into Bold Trail, go over and navigate to Web IDX Settings, and then Website Settings. If you don't know how to do that, watch video number 2. What we're going to cover today is SEO settings, site content section, service areas, SEO, all the areas from your MLS, and adding keywords using ChatGPT. This is also, we're going to add testimonials. We're going to add a blog post. How does that work? Well, we'll talk about that. We're going to create a blog post and we're going to include tags, areas, a strong call to action. Some other things you might want to do is be consistent with your blog post, because each blog post that you do will improve your search rankings on Google. Also, remember, this isn't just about increasing visibility of your website and searchability. It's about adding value to your clients, to your community, and to your group of people that you work with. So some blog ideas would be generating a weekly or monthly business highlight. Maybe you have contractors you want to work with and you want to help share that information out there. Creates this really nice symbiotic relationship between you and your community. Using widgets, pretty simple. Go to your Web and IDX settings and click on widgets. There you're going to find a ton of different widgets that you can add to your website. What is a widget? Well, a widget is a small program or small line of code that you can add to your website that will help you further customize it. Popular widgets that I see constantly are home valuation tools, meet the team, featured listings, testimonials, and contact forms. Create a custom page. One of the things we're going to do is show you how to create a custom page and add it to your website. So you can add up to 4 custom pages to your website. That can be anything from buying and selling, a coaching page, recruiting page, Y list with me, an agent highlight page. You could do a lender page. All of those things can be lead generation tools that you have on your website. And now finally, the key takeaways that we're going to talk about are going to be how your website becomes your powerful storefront, because that is what your website is. It is your digital storefront, a place where you drive traffic to generate leads for yourself, to add value to your community, to have your listings showcased, to help people get a listing valuation or a market report. And all of that is done within Bold Trail. Okay, now let's log in and check out service areas and SEO first. Here we are. I am in Bold Trail. As most of you know, over here on the left-hand side, Web and IDX is where we're going to click. So just click there and you'll be taken to your settings. Now, I go over all of these settings in video number 2. What we're going to talk about real quick, though, is your site content. So up here in the top, you'll see site content. If I click on that, it's going to bring up 2 things, testimonials, and it's going to bring up service areas and SEO. So let's go over these. Testimonials, that's straightforward. If you have a Zillow account and you want to connect it, click here, connect Zillow reviews to testimonials, and you'll be prompted, if I click that, to put in your email and your screen name, and those testimonials will populate within 24 hours on your website. If I want to add a testimonial, really simple. Click on this green button here, add testimonial. I'll type in who wrote it. If you want to hide their last name, like you just want to put in F, for example, for my name, you can put in the text here or what they said. This agent was amazing. And then I hit add. And now what's going to do is add that testimonial to my website. I can even rate it if I want. If I want to delete it, I can hit this little X next to it and I'll remove it. If I just want to turn it off, all I have to do is just turn it off and it won't appear on my website. So that's how you can add your own testimonials. The next thing is an interesting topic. This is service areas and SEO. Okay, so when somebody's going to Google or Bing or whatever search engine they're using, they're going to type in an area, they're going to type in homes, maybe type in local keywords, or they're going to type in, a price amount, things like that. What you can do is you can add keywords into each area that will help that area be found with your website. For example, I've added Alpine, Utah, and I put in a whole bunch of keywords right here. Now, don't worry. Don't think that you have to figure out what all these keywords are. You can use our friend ChatGPT and have a prompt telling ChatGPT, create SEO keywords specifically for Alpine, Utah. Put a comma between each word or phrase that will help my website increase visibility if somebody searches for it. Then what will happen is ChatGPT will spit out a whole bunch of words with commas between them. You copy that and paste it directly into this keyword section. Now you can also put in page text here, which will help as well, and the display name. So let's say Alpine, Utah has a nickname. I could put that in this display text area. Now, how did I get all of these areas added? Well, over here on the right-hand corner, there's this green button. It will say, if you've not done this, it will say add all areas from MLS. And so what that will do is it will populate this with all of the areas from your MLS automatically for you. So it will look just like this. So let me show you real quick. I'm going to go to Alton, Utah, and I'm going to type in some keywords there. Okay, so here we go. I typed in a prompt in ChatGPT that said, type out SEO optimized words for Alton, Utah that will help my website be searchable online. Then, boom, this is what it spit out. I put it in the description, I hit save, and now I have Alton, Utah as a keyword optimized area for my website. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Now, let's say I wanted to add other service areas in SEO. I can click up here in this add section and I can type in other areas from the MLS that might not have populated. So you can add any cities you want. If you wanted to add all the cities, you click on the green button. If you wanted to add them one by one because you only work in a certain area, then you can add them individually right here. Great. Next thing is blog. So I click next to site content is the blog option, and we're going to take a look at that. So I've added some blog posts here. So I would come up with some ideas that you think might be a good blog post and add it. So one of the things you can do is click add post right here in the top right corner, and that's how you can add your blog post. If you've added one and you want to edit it, over here to the right, you could click edit, and then you'll see here's the title. Here is the body of the blog post. And I think this one was pretty straightforward. Harriman, Utah, a hidden gem or a smart move for home buyers and investors. So this is just an example of an area that I live in that people might be interested in moving to or investing in, and I'm giving them value. You want to add as much value in here as you can to drive people to your website. So what we'll do is I'll hit publish now once I've added it. And then if I wanted to share this out, you'll see there's this link section. I can copy the link by just clicking on this little square, or I can click on this little arrow next to it, and it's actually going to take you directly to that blog page on your website. And this is what it looks like once you've created a blog. Now, by all means, you can add photos to this. You can add embedded videos, whatever it is that you'd like to do. Mine is just plain text for SEO searchability. The next thing we're going to talk about are widgets. So widgets are really exciting, fun little things that you can add to your website. You can add as many as you want. Most people will come in here and play with these widgets, and they'll have tons of widgets on their website. Some look good, some don't. But what you can do, I personally like these two widgets the most: Market Report Luxury and Featured Areas Default widget. Now, I have actually edited this Market Report Luxury widget. If I click edit here, you'll see it will take you into the widget editor. So the description is here and the market report name is up here. And down here is the body of the HTML code that is added to your website. One of the things I did is at the bottom here, I changed some of this to thinking of selling your home instead of a market report. I've actually added a / link right here to seller valuation page. So instead of going to my market report page, I actually am looking to generate seller leads by offering up a home valuation report at the very top of my website. And that's what these types of widgets can do for you. So that's really nice. If you wanted to add a widget to your site, you just come over here on the left-hand side and peruse the widgets and click add. So just listed. If I click add there, it's going to add that directly to over here. And you'll see it says just listed half. The half actually means that it's going to take up 1/2 of a quarter of my website page. If I previewed that, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I click preview, and as I scroll down, you'll see it says just listed, and this is what the half means. So it's actually kerned over to the left. So if you wanted to make this to the center, you could actually edit the HTML code. But if I clicked on it, you'll see it's going to actually take me to the just listed portion of my website. Now, that doesn't look very good. I don't really like the way that looks. So I would just click the X here to remove it. And that's going to remove the widget from there. The other really nice widget that Boldtrail offers is this featured areas widget. If I click edit here, you'll see I've set up 9 different areas. These are all popular areas around my home and areas that I prefer to work in. So you could do the same. So if you are outside of Boston and you want to put the neighborhoods outside of Boston, or if you're in Charleston, you want to put neighborhoods outside of Charleston, or Columbus, Ohio, and you put areas outside of there, you can do that. And it's really, really simple. All you have to do is add this widget like I just showed you, and then you'll be presented with these 9 areas. You click on the little gear at the top and you're going to title the area. So in this case, it's Harriman. You're going to put the location. I use the zip code. I think it finds it better that way. And then you can change the image. So you'll notice this is a nice image of Holmes and Harriman. This is what it looks like. What I actually did is I went to Google. I'll show you real quick. Google, and then I'll type in the city, and I typed in home afterwards. I go to images, and then you can find all kinds of homes or neighborhoods or whatever image you like for that area. It has to be a JPEG. Just remember that. And then once you click on it, it'll take you to this editor, and then you can click open image in new tab. That will show you the actual image. Look at the extension of the image up at the top. This one actually says it's a JPEG. So this one would work. And then you right click on it and hit save image as. That will save the image to your desktop. And then what you'll do is you'll come over here and you'll click change image. You'll upload the file here and then insert the file down here. Once you've done that, it has populated with the image you choose. Now, you'll notice something about this, and this looks a lot like a squeeze page, and that's because it really essentially is. What you're doing is you're creating a backlink to your search on your website that's tied to your MLS based on the optional search criteria that you add right here. As you notice, I have not added anything to this. So all I've done is added an area and a zip code. So if somebody clicks on this, they're going to be taken to this search area. And if, let's say I wanted just to be, businesses, maybe I'm a commercial agent, or maybe I wanted to do coming soons or anything like that. I can add listing types in here. I can add styles, price ranges, so on and so forth. And I can do that for each area that I have here. So let's say there's a specific area you work in and you only want to work in that area. You could have the same area 9 times with 9 different types of searches in there. So that's another use for this widget that you can add to your website, which is really nice. Let's take a look at my website, and this is what it would look like. So once you've completed the featured areas widget, come down here and this is what it looks like on your website. It looks really nice. If I click on one of these, let's say Lehigh, this is what it's going to do. You'll notice that the URL changes to this huge long link, and it's actually taking me to the search area on my website to show all the homes that are currently listed. So then I can filter those and go through those as I choose. So those are your widgets. Now, the next part is going to be pages. Pages, this one's more complicated than the others. That's why I've left it to the end. So a lot of people want to have a custom page added to their website, either about me, a recruiting page, a coaching page, a buyer's resource guide. And Boldtrail has added some really nice pre-populated templates for you to do that. That's what this about me is. That's what about us, the buyer's guide, home buyer's resource. If I select any of these, you'll see that I opened the page builder right here. So you'll see that this is what your web page would look like if you didn't edit anything on here. Up at the top is the page title. So this says buying a home, but maybe you want to say guide to buying a home. There's advanced options here too, where you can update what the slug is going to be. You can change the category. Let's say I want it to be its own new category, which I actually do. So we're going to title it Guide to Buying a New Home. So each time you add a category, you can nestle your links or your pages underneath that category. But if you want each page to be its own page, you're going to create a new category for each page. Okay. Show header, show footer, URL link. So you can change what that is. You can add a meta tag description, keywords, and even a property RSS feed if you'd like. So these are all options that you can add to your web page that you've created to help with SEO and all of that sort of stuff. So we're going to save that. And now here's the home buying guide. You can change what the title says by just clicking on it. Let's say you wanted this contact card over here to be something other than says contact us. You want to change what it says. You could say learn more. All you have to do, it's a WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get. So when you type on it, it will change. Now you'll notice as I click on these different options, all of these details change on the right-hand side. So let's just go quickly over what this says. So there's the content page, there's the rows option. So this is adding different elements to your custom page. And then you have your settings tab here. So each setting, this is for your page as a whole. Okay, so content area width, you can see I can shrink it, I can grow it, I can center it left or center it right, I can change the background colors, background image, I could change that, the font, meta description, all of that information, right? I can even add a favicon if I want. The rows, these are going to be spacers. So if I drag it over here, you'll see there's this line. For those of you who have watched my Smart Campaigns video and the advanced email editor, you'll notice that this is very similar to that. So if you click on this area here, like I added this content area. So let's say I wanted to add a paragraph. All I have to do now is drag this in. Now I have a big paragraph block in here. Now that I can type out what I want. So did you see how I did that? What I did was I added the area first, and then I added the content to the area. What you would want to do is add the spacer, which is these rows, and then add your content to it so that you're spacing all of your content out correctly. Let's say I wanted to change this background image. I can click on it. You see how it kind of changes color to like this lighter blue? Click on it and it's going to give me the details of that. So you see here, here's the URL to that image. If I click change image, it's going to populate in my folder that I have all of my images uploaded in. If I click search for free photos, there's actually a really cool thing called pexels.com and Pixabay that Bold Trail gives you free access to, and I could just type in something there and it will populate with some images that I might want to use to import. So this one looks good. You'll notice that I imported the image, and if I just check the box here, I click insert, I've changed the background image of that page. That's how you're going to make edits and add images. Now this learn more button over here, you're going to see there's some options on this as well, like padding. So if I wanted to pad this out, you can see I can make the button smaller or bigger. I could change the border. I could even change what happens if somebody clicks on it. So open web page, send an email, make a phone call, send a text message, an internal link. This is really interesting because let's say you added a button here that said email me. Well, you could change that button to send an email right away, and you can even pre-populate what the email says. So you can have it mailed to your support team, your admins, an agent, a brokerage, yourself. You could populate the subject line, what the body says, and then if somebody clicks on that, an email will pop out and all they have to do is hit send from their computer. There's some really cool things you can do with buttons in this custom page builder. Now, as we go down, here's an image. You could change the image there. Here's some text here. You can change the text. You can move it around. Let's say I want this text to be on top of this header here. All I have to do is click on this little 4 arrow icon and I can move it anywhere I want. Let's say I want to change what it says. All I have to do is click in it and I can change what it says. I want to move it down here below this line. I can do that. Now let's say I like this whole area here and I want to duplicate it, and all I'm going to do is flop these two things. So there's this little duplicate button here in the top right hand corner. I click that. Now you'll see it has made a duplication of this. So if I want to switch this, all I have to do is drag this image over here, and then I could click on this money one. I could drag this over here. Boom. And then this little line, I can click on that, drag it over here. And this text, I can drag it over here. Now, look, that looks really good, right? Very congruent, very symmetrical. And then I can just start typing in all the information I want, changing the photos, changing the background, changing the colors. There's also other options in here too, like searchability. So maybe I want to have a search on my website. So that's what this button is for. Again, I would play around with the button options, with the social media links in here. You can even add videos to your web page if this is maybe about me section. As I scroll down, here's another placeholder. Down here is a call to action. And, if somebody fills this out, they're going to be a lead in your system. And you can even apply hashtags to their name. So that's what this tag section is. Deal type, are they a buyer, a seller? You can specify which kind of information you want to capture. And that's all by just adding this button to your custom page. I would highly suggest that you play around with your custom pages. The more you do it, the easier it is to learn. You get better at it. So definitely come in here, and you can always remove and delete stuff as you choose. Now, in the top left-hand corner, there is a desktop version, which is what we're seeing, and then a mobile version. And I would highly suggest to look at both when you're creating this to see how it would look if you're on a mobile device. And obviously this doesn't look that great, so you can make adjustments to it to your liking. That's really nice because they give you what it would look like if somebody went to your website on their mobile device or if they're on a desktop. All right, so now we have added this page. Let's save it. So up here in the top right hand corner, you're gonna save it once you like it. And then you can hit publish. And what that will do is it will make your page live on your website. Now, it's not just going to show up on your website, okay, because you haven't added the link to this page yet. But you can click view and it will show you what that page looks like. You'll notice it's not up here, right? So how do I get the page that I just created added to my website? If you remember back to the second lesson, we did that in the Web IDX settings. So let me show you that really quickly. Click on Web IDX, and this is going to be where all your settings are. And then over here on the left, there's this custom navigation option. If I click on that, you'll see custom page links is here at the top. Now what I'll do is I'll click in here and it's going to show me the page that I created. So guide to buying a home, and that's what it'll be called. If I hit save, now if I go and look at my website, guide to buying a home's right here at the top, and I can click that. And now I have created a custom page for people that want to go to my website, complete with a search, complete with a lead form at the bottom. This looks great. So you could do these custom pages for all kinds of stuff. Like I said, you could create a bio page, a team page, a recruiting page. You could create a buyer's guide, a seller's guide. You could add a video. Maybe you have a ton of awesome videos and you want to add your videos to custom pages. You can do that all within BoldTrail. And I just showed you how to do it. Now let's say I wanted to remove this. I didn't like it. I just click here, X, save, and now I have removed that custom page from my website, but the page is still active. So what I want to do is I want to come over here, click on pages at the top, and you'll see here are my pages that I've created, guide to buying a new home, and I just want to turn it off to unpublish it. So now it is hidden from my website. If I wanted to come back and make some changes to it, I could republish it. I can click edit and make changes, or I can click the X here just to remove it entirely. So I have removed it entirely from my website. Key takeaways here: your website is a powerful, powerful tool. It's your storefront. You can add content to it. You now have all of the tools you need to make sure your SEO and keywords are set up, how to add a blog, how to customize it with widgets, how to change the colors, how to force lead registration, how to add custom pages. I have given you all of the tools now to customizing your website and how to use it in BoldTrail. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you're an agent, a team, or a brokerage and you want to add a CRM to your tech stack, you can click on the affiliate link below. It really helps out the channel. All you have to do is book a demo, have the sales team talk to you about BoldTrail and what that's like and what it could look like for you and your brokerage. Then come back to my channel and learn how to use it. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions or you want to learn more, you want to talk to me, scan that QR code. I look forward to meeting you. Thank you so much. Let's master this together.